Let's dance, boo.
Welcome everyone, and to the Georgetown Mad Scientist event. If that music didn't fire you up, nothing will. And this great location today for Mad Scientists, congratulations, because by coming to this room, you are now part of what I believe is the fastest growing community of action in the United States Army. I don't call it a community of interest, I call it a community of action, because what we're about is making our organizations better by bringing new ideas, improving future readiness, grabbing the future and pulling it towards us, and ensuring that we're ready for the challenges that face us in the future as an Army.
This is Jocko Podcast number 298 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink.
Other
Good evening,
organizations,
Echo.
your
Good evening.
organizations as we do this. It's about increasing
Within
the
weeks
rate
of their arrival,
cooperation,
the
and
SEALs
that's
of
about
Debt
increasing the rate
Gulf
of
were shaking off their initial
across
jitters
the
and even
artificial
displaying
boundaries
some measure of
which
proficiency.
are our organizational lines.
Signs of this
That's
were
what
apparent
this
in
is
every
about.
aspect of
And
their
you have come to this
operations.
room,
On
and now
ambush,
you are part of it.
no one cleared his throat,
Just so
coughed,
everybody
spit,
remembers that
sneezed,
this is
or even
an
sniffled.
unclassified event.
On insert and extract, the men stepped heel to
Unclassified
toe
event.
to
Everything
reduce
is being
the
live
sucking
streamed. We'll
explosion
have
of
about
mud walking,
115
and above all,
partners
avoided the
in this
footprints of
room
the
over
man in
next
front
2
to
days,
keep from sinking
but we'll
even
have
deeper.
well over 500 virtually
To
connected
improve their
in the chat
in-field
room,
support, the
watching
SEALs
what we're
befriended
doing,
the pilots
asking
and crews
questions.
of the
We'll
Navy's
have a great
helicopter
conversation,
squadron at Na Bay and
that
overhauled
chat room. Sometimes
the
chat room
SEALs'
conversation
denuded
is
landing
more
craft
enlightening
into an
than what we
up-armored
talk about in this room.
ironclad.
It's amazing.
6 heavy machine guns mounted
And,
to gun gunnels,
John Amble,
a 60-millimeter
from Modern
mortar
Warfare
bolted to the
Institute,
rusted
which is a
deck
great
plate,
institute
and a
at West Point,
bunker-busting
is one of
recoilless
us, and
rifle
he's back there
pinioned
running
to
that
the
chat
top of the
room.
sandbag pilot house.
Making sure
There was
that
so much
we're,
armament that the men
that we're
quickly
connected,
recommissioned the
worldwide.
LCM,
There's
the Mighty
also
Mo.
a TRADOC watch page, or a TRADOC
To it,
PAO
they added
runs for
Academy
us,
to block the
and
sun
virtually
and
connected
rain,
team,
a
that's
two-burner
how they're
stove for
viewing it.
meals,
What's
and
going on,
draped
guys?
hammocks
Well,
between everything that didn't pivot or fire. Essentially
anyone
turned it
that
into
will
a
click on
houseboat
links.
littered with empty
Specifically,
hot
the link we're
sauce
talking about
bottles,
here is the
coffee
virtual
cups,
attendance link.
clotheslines, all
You
aids
click
to
on
reduce
it,
the number of
you'll see a
trips
link
back to
to,
Na Bay
a
and
key
increase
paper that
the
we just
amount of
produced,
time they could spend in the mission
on
area.
changing character of warfare
To
and
improve the
future.
quality of their
It's a
encounters with the enemy,
two-year
they experimented with a variety of tactics, false insertions that made the Viet Cong think the SEALs had landed where they hadn't, false extractions that made the Viet Cong think the SEALs had left, and probably most important, squad-sized missions that half the SEALs punch, but correspondingly increase their stealth and the amount of swampland they could cover, thus doubling their chances of Viet Cong contact. No small challenge in an area as empty of the enemy as the Rung Sap.
Just to give you an idea,
And what did these innovations yield? A handful of captured documents and North Vietnamese currency, some freshwater wells, some rice caches, one so monstrous that it merited an airstrike. Then finally, after more than a month of frustrations, Dead Gulf landed a jackpot ambush of 2 sampans that killed 7 suspected Viet Cong guerrillas. The SEALs' reaction was the same as anyone who has just caught a hot streak. A little more than a week after the first coup, one squad pursued a tip from the crew of a hovering Navy gunship that had spotted several camouflage sampans not far from Mighty Mo's anchorage.
Is he going?
Despite having already blown their cover in that area for several days worth of patrolling, the squad leader in full daylight, the squad landed in full daylight and fell in behind point man Billy Macon, a keen-eyed 28-year-old Texan, the father of a daughter and a 5-week
Extra deuce dose AR-15 firing
stepping
string.
alone into the middle of the sun-drenched clearing and spotting a Viet Cong bunker. Macon managed a single burst for his M16 before he was cut down by an eruption of machine gun fire that left him stranded.
Made 10 of them right, and I got a solid 10 of them by hand drawn.
Bullets,
The same way every
branches,
time.
the SEALs fell back on their training and clawed themselves into a rough firing line, but one that was not nearly stiff enough to break the wall of lead that blocked their way to their fallen comrade.
Okay, Mr. Sullivan.
To Tom Truxell, engaged in the untested platoon commander's perennial two-front war, the enemy and his own doubts, it seemed that the only recourse might be to pull back to the river and to the Mighty Mo's guns. That is, until one of his men fired a 40-millimeter grenade into the bunker's mouth.
over
The shock
last
forced a
couple years, as
momentary
we said,
flinch in the enemy's ambush, just
Trade
long
Act
enough
G2,
for the heavyweight Moscone
a number
to
of its
bowl a
partners,
mad
has
dash
fought
for Macon,
long and
who was
hard
carried
about
to
the future of
safety
warfare
just in
and
time to
where we're
whisper a
going.
final message to
One of
his
our
wife,
missions,
while the
of course,
corpsman
at Trade Act
ransacked
is
his
to work
tiger
on the
stripes
operational
to find his
environment for
wounds.
the Army. And in the most simplest of
Where'd you go?
terms, that is
What are you
essentially
doing?
Considering that Macon's death was
Considering
that Macon's death in combat was not simply the first for the SEAL teams, but that it was also nearly a 10% manpower loss for SEAL Team 1, no one would have faulted Wires if he had forced a pause to assess the operation that had led to the tragedy.
So what will that operational environment be
Short
in the future?
world.
The reason was no more
Circumstances
complicated
on
than the
IH.
same one taught to
Spoilers,
anyone
numbers,
who has
and
ever
anglings,
looked up to see
angles,
the belly of
overhead
the horse
camera,
that just
design
bucked
of the
them
polarizing
off.
wave
Wires
function,
ordered his men back to
electromagnetism,
back
law
into
of
their
attraction.
saddles and back into the rung sap. This perseverance would have payoffs. Within a month, the SEALs of Det Gulf were expanding their operational repertoire from planned patrol and ambush to unplanned quick reaction counterattacks along the Rung Sap's choke
They don't
points.
want me out there in the.
In
they
theory,
want me
it was
you
an
doing this.
operational expansion that finally fulfilled the Buckley
Do it.
Report's
Check out.
recommendation
See the
for
future of going
riverbank
this way.
raiders.
Oh yeah.
Because this project
Really?
itself is
Practice,
essentially
it was
already
a
been
resurrection
impacted
of the
by
Navy's
everybody at Mad
grapple-swinging
Scientist
boarding
who's
parties.
talked to us about the future.
Encounters now
We've
included
taken
the
what you
inland
said
pursuit
and
and
we've rolled it
cornering of
into
black
our
pajama-wearing
assessment of
attackers,
what we think
firefights that varied from a few sharp
So
rifle
again,
exchanges
we would
to
ask,
15-minute
take
skirmishes.
a look at
One of
these
these against
and
an
provide us
enemy
feedback.
packed
And if you get a
haystack
chance to read
that
it,
did
if you
not
have any
stop
questions,
firing until the SEALs
I'd be
launched
happy to
48
talk
grenades
to
into it.
them or try to answer
Where's
them.
that go?
On an
Okay.
even
Hopefully
higher
come up
level,
with better
now the Stranger
questions
is
to
both
make this
telekinetic and
even more
telepathic,
dynamic,
demonstrating strong enough telepathy to resist
so
a
with that,
psychic
I
attack
thank
from the
you,
Overmind,
and I
one
will
of the
hand it back
Eternals
to
whose
Lee
psychic power comes from
start
the
the other
combined
introductions.
psyches of billions of
Thank you,
Eternals,
Mr.
which,
Sullivan.
simply put, means he's
So,
one of the strongest telepaths in the
here at
multiverse.
Georgetown, this
Furthermore,
has been
one of the Watchers
a
remarks
3-year
that the Stranger's telepathy
special
would be able to
relationship
break
between
his
the
mind
Mad
if he had not
Scientist
surrendered.
program
Now, the Stranger possesses
and Trade
cosmic
Doc,
awareness, likely due
checking
in part to the
Doctrine
many
Command,
experiments he's
with
conducted throughout the
Georgetown,
cosmos.
and a lot
His
of that
knowledge is
is
so
because
vast
of
that
Colonel
he's sought out by the
Dave
Watchers,
Maxwell,
a race of
who,
beings whose
if
literal
you
existence
are-
is
if you
nothing
like to
but
read
watching and
and you're
recording what goes on
engaged
in the
in the
universe.
thought
They sought this
community
guy
on
out for
fighting,
help on how to
you know
cure a
that
disease
name.
that was plaguing them, suggesting
I
they
think
regard
every
him
morning
as one of the most
when I get up
knowledgeable
at 5
entities in
o'clock,
all of existence.
and one of the
So
first
yeah,
things I
the
do, I know you're
Stranger
looking crazy,
is
I look
probably
at
one of the
Twitter,
most
and Dave
powerful
Maxwell-
You
beings
know you're
that
live
you've
on.
never heard
Get
of
your
from
reaction
Marvel Comics.
facially
And he's
on
always
this live.
underestimated,
Like
right?
we got
People sleep on
options.
the power of the Stranger.
But
Probably
retired
because he
Dave
hasn't really
Maxwell
seen him all
was
that much.
Associate
Right? He
Director
hasn't
of the
really
Center for
done enough to
Security
really
Studies
fully
here
utilize
at
the
Edmund A.
totality of his
Walsh
power. But I will
School
tell you
of
this:
Foreign
this
Service
Stranger at
at
full
Georgetown
power, this
University.
guy
More
is a
importantly,
monster.
Mike
This guy's power
Grohl
level is
on
absolutely
San
insane.
Francisco
Well, that's it, guys.
Bridge,
We're gonna bring this to an end.
nuking
Thank
fucking
you guys for
or
watching,
fog,
and I will
man.
catch you all later.
From the
the
bridge.
Army.
Right up.
And I think he really embodies the idea that he's a soldier for life. So Dave Maxwell, I hand it over to you.
You're a psychopath.